Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making the baked White River salmon from the Elder Scrolls Cookbook. The ingredients that we are going to need are 1/4 cup of heavy cream, 1/2 teaspoon of the Stormcloak Seasoning, and I will leave the recipe for it down in the description, as well as 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 3 tablespoons of freshly grated parmesan, 3 tablespoons of butter, 1 egg, as well as 1 sheet of puff pastry. You're going to also need 1 pound fillet of salmon, as well as 1 leek that I've diced up, and the equivalent of 1 medium carrot that I've gone ahead and diced as well. And that's going to be it. So let's go ahead and move over to my stove, and we'll go ahead and start sauteing down our vegetables. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead and started melting down our butter, and I'm going to go ahead and put my vegetables in, and we're going to allow these to saute for about 15 minutes or until the leeks and carrots have started to soften up. Just want to stir these around really well, get them encoded in that butter, and then I'm just going to let these go on a low heat until they are done. Alright guys, so our leeks and carrots have softened up, and I'm going to go ahead and add in my spices, and we're just going to stir that around, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in the heavy cream, and we're going to allow this to cook just for a few more minutes until the cream starts getting absorbed into the vegetables. While I'm doing this, I would like to remind y'all of the Gamers and Geeks playlist that Gamester Dad and I have going on our channels. If you would like to be a part of it, it's really easy. All you have to do is go out and make a cooking video and then post it to your channel. And then let either JPEG or I know in the comments section of our latest cooking videos. Or if you're a part of our Discord servers, you can let us know over there as well. The only thing we're asking, guys, is that you do mention the Gamers and Geeks playlist in your video, as well as leave a link down in the description to it, just so we can continue to help support all the fine people that have already contributed to the playlist so far. Alright guys, this is looking pretty good. So all I'm going to do now is turn it off my heat, and I'm going to add in our cheese. And I'm just going to stir this in, and then I'm going to set it to the side and allow this to cool while we continue on with the fish. Alright guys, for the next step, all we need to do is lay our puff pastry out on a lightly floured surface, and I'm choosing to use parchment paper just because that is going to help us get our fish transferred over to our baking sheet a little bit easier. Go ahead and just open it up, get rid of these. And then all I'm going to do is go in and lightly roll this out a little bit, just so it's going to be big enough to completely encase our piece of salmon. Alright guys, I think that is going to be big enough for what we need. I'm going to go ahead and dust just a little bit more of our Stormcloak Seasoning on the puff pastry, just right down the middle of it. And I used, I don't know, probably about 1/8 teaspoon is all I'm going to use for it. I think that's going to be good enough. I'm going to go ahead and put our piece of salmon right here in the middle. I think that will do it. Alright guys, so now that we have the salmon down, the next thing we're going to do is just take our cooled vegetables, and I'm going to put them right on top. And we want to spread these over evenly. Oh, my oven has been preheating to 375 degrees. So once we get this done, it'll be ready to go straight in. Here we go. And I'm just going to lightly press all this down right across the top of our salmon. Hey guys, this is looking pretty good there. So the next thing we need to do is I've gone ahead and beaten the egg, and I'm just going to use a pastry brush and go along the edges here so that it will seal. I think I'm just going to do it on the one side. I'm going to go ahead and bring our puff pastry up over this way. And then I'm going to fold this end up over this way, and we're going to seal our edges here. You might need to stretch it just a little bit. And then I'm simply going to brush the top, or well, this is actually going to be the bottom of our salmon package here. But I want to go ahead and get this brushed so that these pieces will adhere to it. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. So, and then you're just going to bring your edge pieces up towards the seam as far as they will go. Do it to the opposite side as well. There we go. Nice pretty little salmon package. So all we need to do now is transfer it over to a parchment lined cookie sheet. Get some of this stuff out of my way. And I think this is going to actually help me get it flipped over. I'm going to completely flip it over and put it seam side down right in the middle of your tray. Now I did go ahead and remove the skin from the salmon, just because it still had a bunch of scales, and I don't want that in my final dish. And then the last thing I'm going to do is put a couple of slices right across the top so that it can vent while it's cooking in the oven. Now that I have the slits in the top of our salmon, I'm going to go ahead and lightly brush the whole thing with the remainder of our beaten egg so that it'll get a nice golden brown, and it'll help kind of brush off some of that extra flour there. Alright guys, that looks pretty good. So now all we need to do is transfer this over into a 375-degree oven and allow it to bake for 25 to 30 minutes. So I will see you guys when it's done. Alright guys, our baked White River salmon is done. The top is nice and crispy and brown, and the salmon is perfectly cooked, nice and flaky on the inside. So let's go ahead and get in here, give it a little taste, see what we think about it. I'm going to get a little bit of everything here. Still pretty warm. Alright guys, well this turned out really good. I'm very pleased with the flavors in it. I do really like the Stormcloak Seasoning. I think it's one of my favorite seasoning mixes from the book. And it really does come through. I love the vegetables in it with that creamy cheesy sauce. It really is a good complement to the salmon. The only thing I would add is some salt. The salmon definitely needs just a little bit of salt added to it. Other than that, this is a really good dish. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for me for today. If you guys like this video, leave me a comment down below. If you guys tried this recipe out, let me know how it turned out for you. Remember to check out the Gamers and Geeks playlist. I will leave links down in the description to both it, as well as my other Elder Scrolls cookbook videos. But for now, thank you all so very much for joining me today. I've been Vault Girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.